All right, so today we're going to go over how to make an interactive notebook digitally. And so I know that a lot of us use interactive notebooks within our classroom, and those are paper, they're pencil, and we can't necessarily do that if our kids aren't going to always be in the classroom with us. So to make one, here's an example of what I'm talking about when I say an interactive notebook that's digital. So I've put this one together. It's for my first unit with science in 4th grade. It's a 2-day unit, so it's not very long, so it's not a very big book either. Now, whenever you go to make these, they are time consuming, but they save you a lot of time later because you're not going to have to make copies. Whenever you grade them, it's going to be digitally because the kids are just going to submit it to you. It's not going to be like having to collect all of those notebooks and trying to sort through them and everything else, especially if you're a secondary teacher and you have all those classes rotating through. All right, so in this one, I have my cover page. I made it look like a composition notebook. I like the way those look. On my pages, so processes for scientific investigation, copy and pasted this in from Google. Then I've got scientific processes unit questions, and I have the questions that I want the kids to be able to answer by the end of this unit, that I want them to be thinking about as we go through the unit. And then we have vocabulary. I have instructions, add definitions of each word in your own words in green next to the vocabulary word. And I did the first one for them as an example. They're going to go in, they're going to do it with the rest of them. And I actually have 2 vocabulary pages. So this is the regular vocabulary, and then I have the extended vocabulary. And then an interactive game. So the way this works, all of these can move, and so the instructions say click and drag each object so that's next to its definition. So this is a camera. It's clearly not a calculator. It's not going to be used to complete math calculations, but it is a camera. So the kids are going to click here, they're going to drag it down, they're going to match it up to camera. Then we're going to move on. So here's a calculator, and then a metric ruler, computer, microscope, and hand lens. And so they're all matched up. And then the kids move on to the next one, which is another matching game. And they're able to just move these around just like we did on the first one so that they match. Same on the third one, this unit, because it's only 2 days long. It is heavy on vocabulary. And in the classroom, we'd actually be touching and feeling and moving around and actually, using these things. But we can't do that digitally because I can't send hot plates home with every single kid. I don't have enough, for one, but 2, I need to make sure they stay in my classroom, right? So, moving on. And then my last matching activity. By the end of the lessons, the students should be able to answer all of those questions back here. So we'd go back to that in class and we'd look at them and we'd make sure we can answer them. But that's the first interactive notebook. So the way that you're going to make an interactive notebook, so I'm going to go back to my Google Drive. Now, I actually usually make mine in PowerPoint just because I don't always have internet access whenever I'm making stuff. Taking the kids out to do stuff and everything. So while I usually use PowerPoint, I'm going to show you with Google Drive because everyone pretty much has access to Google Drive. So you're going to click New, and you're going to go to Google Slides. So you want a brand new Google slide. All right, and we've got it. Okay, we don't need one of these themes. We'll get to that later. I'm going to give it a title, so INB example. And right now, it just looks like a regular Google slide. You'll notice that mine, in my interactive notebook, is actually, it's like the dimensions of a notebook. So that's the first thing we're going to do. And to do that, you click File, Page Setup, and then you're actually going to choose Custom. Now, mine are set to 13 by 18, and so that's what we're going to set this one to. We're going to set it to 13 by 18 and then click Apply. And you'll notice that now we have this notebook dimensioned slide, which is great because now what we can do is we can bring in a background image. So I'm going to choose an image. I actually have a bunch that I made. They're up on my Teachers Pay Teachers store. I'll put a link down in the description. But for now, I'm just going to go ahead and choose one. Let's see. I want a space themed one. No, actually I'm feeling the paint chip ones. This one. I like this one. So it's going to come on in. It's going to upload. It's there. Click done. So we have our cover. Now, I use these covers because they look more like a notebook. They feel more real. You can use any other cover. You can use any image you want. But again, I like these. I'm going to insert a text box right here. And I'm just going to put what this interactive notebook is. So interactive, so example interactive notebook. And then increase that size, probably about a 40. Yeah, that works for this. You'll play around with that, make it look nice. Play with the fonts, do whatever you want to do with it. But there we go. And then I need a new slide. Now I like it to look like paper. So I'm actually going to take these. No, I'll leave those. Background, choose image. Now for this, I just want it to look like paper. So I'm actually just going to do a Google image search. I'm going to choose college ruled paper. And then I just have to pick one that's going to work. So I'm actually going to click this one and insert, and we're going to see how it looks. Right, looks pretty good to me. I'm going to click to add my title. So my first page, I always put my learning standards. So I'm in Texas, and that's TEKS. And then I would copy and paste my TEKS in here. But again, this is your notebook that you're giving to your students. So you're going to use however you would set that up. I do mine individually by unit, so the kids have multiple notebooks, one for each unit. They should have about 6 or 7 by the end of the year. You may want to do them all at once together. That's up to you. But that's how I make those. And then when you go to make something interactive, so I'm going to right click here, duplicate slide, and to make things interactive, you're just going to copy and paste pictures into here. So if I go here and let's say I want to get a microscope picture, microscope, image, I'm going to use this one, right click, copy, and then bring it into my slide by pasting it. Now, I do recommend that you use clip art, more fun things. I do have clip art also in my Teachers Pay Teachers store, but there's tons of other sellers on the TPT that have clip art that you can use. So you can then play around with the formatting, adjustments, recoloring, positioning, everything. And then put in a text box where you want them to do things. So insert text box, and then microscope. Again, we have to size it, so 40. My spelling's off today. Okay, and then here we go. And then I'd put instructions, and I'd put more pictures, and I'd put more labels and definitions. But it's the point is to make sure the kids are working with their information. So that's the basics of it. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. And that's about it. So hope y'all have a great day. If you need anything, let me know. Check out my Teachers Pay Teachers store that I have now told you about 3 times to find some awesome stuff that you can use. Hope y'all have a great day.